Middle School in Perris, California. I'm Natalie Priester, and I'm going to give my updates and reports about my class throughout the day. I'm not going to flip my video on the kids because then they stop playing and they pay attention to the camera, they hide. But I will snap pictures of them. I got off to a late start today because I had to unexpectedly go to an IEP, but the sub was gracious enough to let the kids start. When I came back, I had a group of boys playing chess, kids who don't always talk to each other normally. I had a large group playing this interesting mix-up of spin the bottle, truth or dare. I was supervising though, it was appropriate. It was things like stick your hair in your nose, I don't know, kid stuff. And I had a group that was drawing on the board. I did notice that I had a girl who was not participating really and was kind of floating. So note to self, I need to do more work to helping her build friendships in the classroom. So that's one class period down. The next class period is underway. I'll have more to report in a bit. Bye. Quieter for you. Anyways, I have more of a reflection. So in my last class, I have a ton of gentlemen who are very hyper, and first reflection is they were able to sit and like totally focus. They were playing cards and they were leading the play and had some intense card playing going on. I had kids playing MASH on the board. I had kids playing Perfection in different games, playing with a magic 8-ball. I kept thinking they were on their phones, but really they were playing with the 8-ball. But the two coolest things I saw or noticed were having to do with how they interacted. The first one was that my kids were all speaking in Spanish. I teach EL, but this class, most of my kids hardly ever speak Spanish. They are more like long-term EL kids, and they switched to Spanish. But what I noticed was they were talking way more. I have kids that hardly ever talk in class, but in Spanish, they were so chatty with their friends. Also, I noticed that their body language was changing. I told one of my pars, I'm like, they totally look like different kids. Like their faces and their gestures are so much more animated than when they're talking in English. I think it's probably because they're more comfortable in Spanish. The other thing, I almost started crying because it was so adorable. One of my groups of boys that were playing cards are kind of like the leaders, more outgoing kids in the class. And every single time a kid walked up to them, a boy in the group turned and said, "Hey man, you want to play? Hey man, you want to play?" Every single time, including some of my kids who are, I don't know, just ones that don't always fit in with the group perfectly or aren't really friends with them. But my last class had more 7th graders, and this class is all 8th graders. Most of my kids have been together either on their team or in my class for 2 years, and their friendships were really shining through, and I was so proud of them. Okay, more later. Bye. In the first block of this class, my boys totally geeked out on this play thing. They're the ones loudly playing Monopoly in the background. They asked to use paper airplanes, and I was like, okay, gave them some old paper. And then when I gave directions, I told them they could also move the desks. And they actually built 2 sides and had a giant paper airplane war. They made some snowballs too. There were grenades. They had people that were held prisoner in jail, and they played for a solid 30-40 minutes. I sat near them just to kind of referee. Something notable is one of the boys was too cool to play, and then I saw him sneaking over, and then sitting in the middle. Then the next thing I know, he's all involved. I had kids making paper airplanes. While they were playing, my girls hung out with just my girls, which is interesting, but they played board games. Now they're drawing on the board. Another group of boys who are close friends played a board game too. I still have one kid who's sitting out. That's something I want to work on, is these kids that I need to match up with somebody to help them make friends. But I've had a great day of watching my kids play. I know I will remember watching my boys play war for a long time. The youthfulness and the imagination and just the physical, they're just throwing them and laughing and talking like they were soldiers, something I would not have expected to see out of my 8th graders. I really value that they've had the 2 years together to build friendships and that they feel comfortable just playing in my classroom. So this whole thing has taught me a lot. I've really enjoyed my day with my kids, and I hope that they have enjoyed playing too and just having some unstructured time just to chill and have fun. So thank you to the founders of Global School Playday. I loved it, and I recommend teachers should do it next year. Bye.